What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about CCIV, which is set to merge with Lucid Motors. We're going to go over exactly where I see this stock going pre-merger, post-merger, and potentially what the outlook could be. And there are some analysts out there that's saying that this might be the one that competes with Tesla the most. As much as I'm a believer that there probably will never be the next Tesla because it was the first one to really break out the EV market, this one might be the one that closely replicates it. And right now you are looking at a price point that is very, very, very minuscule. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. Let's get into the video right now. First off, look at this chart. It is taken off from the initial news popping over in January. If you're looking back here, it popped up. It was at 818 after a little bit of news, and it's just continuously uptrended. Okay, then there was some news about them being really, really close to a deal happening. Now, actually, the merger has not been 100% confirmed yet, okay? And there hasn't been a date yet. However, I feel 100% confident that is going to continue to happen. There's been enough movement forward that to see the turn back without some, crazy thing that happens, it looks like it's going to go. So I want to talk a little bit about this stock potentially, as I was kind of just, sitting to myself thinking, imagine getting in Tesla, 7 years ago when it was starting, and where it is at now, and pre-split, we're sitting at about $4,000 a share. Okay, and if you look at Churchill Capital, right now, it'll change, ticker symbols, but it's at $60 a share. It's got a 15 billion market cap right now, and yes, they might be, a ways behind of, Tesla. Tesla delivered 500,000 vehicles last year, and they're nowhere near that. They're still many years away from that, but it's got a market cap of 15 billion, and Tesla's sitting at around, I think it's 800 billion, right? So this might give a huge opportunity, and I looked at it from a standpoint from myself, and I don't know if any of you guys, can really look at this, but I look at stocks that I've invested in years ago. I go back to my Merrill Lynch account and I look at stocks that I invested in, and maybe they didn't move up high enough, or maybe they fell 10% and I sold off on. And recently, I watched Twilio pop to $450, and it was like, goodness, I had 1,000 shares at $15. And it ended up decreasing a little bit, and I lost some money on it, and I wanted to buy something else, and I sold out on it. And then I looked at Activision and Starbucks, and yes, I hung on to Apple, and I got into Tesla a little bit later, but I've hung on to that for a while. But I just watched many companies where I look back and it's just like, oh my goodness, I could have really capitalized on some of the gains, and this might be a huge opportunity ahead of us. And while Lucid is going to have growing pains along the way, they're going to have some business issues. One thing that keeps me really confident is the team that they have, the man that they have running the show, the team that they have at the executive level, and also they've watched a company like Tesla already pave the path ahead of them. They've watched the mistakes that Tesla's made, and hopefully, normally you can learn from these mistakes. And if they can really learn from these mistakes, the learning curve and the growth curve isn't going to be as long as it was for Tesla, okay? When you look at the company as a whole, they look at, this is an article that came out in December, but it's Tesla competitor Lucid Motors just completed its first ever factory in Arizona, where it plans to build 400,000 EVs a year, all right? Now, right now, it's currently at, look at this, 1 million square feet, absolutely crazy. It's a beautiful facility. They plan on the plant in the spring of 2021, and they're looking at about 30,000 vehicles a year, which off an uptick is pretty good. And they've already got plans. By 2028, Lucid plans to invest a total of more than $700 million into the plant, making more than 5 million square feet, and manufacturing 400,000 vehicles per year. Now, if you look at in 2020, Tesla did 500,000. So if you look at 7 years from now, if Lucid's almost at that level, well, look at Tesla's valuation, 800 billion. Lucid's valuation is right now sitting at 15 billion. And while that will rise over, I can pretty much guarantee it, closely guarantee it, over the next coming months, once it happens and so forth, the room for it to grow is exponential, absolutely exponential. So this is kind of what gets me excited. This is a good article. It just explains a little bit more about the facility in Arizona, which is absolutely beautiful. They put it up, I believe, I think it was exactly in 1 year. One of the other things I really like about Lucid, and I was thinking this to myself, is their price point. They're more focused on a luxury EV, and I think to myself right now, before EVs become the mainstream, which it is probably 10 to 15, 20, maybe 20 years out from now, it's the higher income individuals that are really sought after. So being able to cater to them is, I think, speaking directly to their market. Their price points are a little bit higher, even for their entry levels, which is great, because it makes sure that profit is going to be forefront, which we know Tesla had a little bit of trouble staying afloat with profit. But let's compare exactly what we're looking at. If you look at these two vehicles right here, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. The Model 3 has always been absolutely gorgeous. I love that color red, and that Lucid just looks even sleeker, which is absolutely amazing. But when you look at the breakdown of it, okay, I'm going to get into it a little bit. Let me scroll down a little bit. But their motor and powertrain, Lucid has come prepared to take on the best, stocking a stonking great powertrain that should, on paper at least, comfortably eclipse the performance of even the quickest Model S, which is absolutely awesome. All right, it goes into some specs, which is, 0 to 100 kilometers in 2.5 seconds. It's a top speed of 320 kilometers an hour. Comparatively, the Tesla Model S can't quite match those mind-bending stats, but it's no slouch either. And however, guys, this is also still, I believe when this was created, it was just on paper. But that's the powertrain and the motor. Then it gets into the range and the charging, which is beginning to be much more on the forefront. I think as, the everyday individual, would think about buying these as the daily driver to work. It's no problem. Maybe my job is a charging station. Maybe it doesn't. However, I could charge it at home overnight. No problem. But when they're looking for more long term of like, well, I don't, what am I going to do? I don't want to have two vehicles in case I want to drive. I live in Connecticut, if I want to make that drive down to, the southern New Jersey, Wildwood, New Jersey, I used to vacation there as a kid all the time. That's pretty good ways, being able to sit and have to charge for a while. Well, you look at it, Lucid's going to be able, it says it's going to be able to charge in just 20 minutes. Tesla's got a 30-minute charge, which isn't too crazy, but of a difference. But what says to me is just that their technology is already at that level. And that's what I mean by it, is that the learning curve is going to be much less. It took Tesla a very, very long time to kind of be able to get that. And it looks like Lucid's going to be able to jump into it. The one concern I have for Lucid is going to be just the actual business model, being able to produce these vehicles and so forth, because I think it is just going to hit like a rocket right off the start. Their autonomy and tech is pretty crazy, okay? It says their staples like the radar-based cruise control, lane keep assist, autonomous braking, and self-parking will all combine, which is awesome. And it says also that Lucid is aiming for a level 3 autonomous certification using LiDAR technology. I believe it's going to start, it says right here, it's going to start at level 2. It won't have level 3 tech at its launch. Currently, Tesla's at level 2. And I have no doubt on it. I know Tesla is already working on that next step, and they're going to continue to advance. And they're going to continue to probably outpace Lucid, and that's okay. I'm not thinking that this company is going to take over Tesla or put them out of business or but it's going to be a huge competition for them. As well as I just look at it as from a market standpoint of what they're breaking into and how much ahead of Lucid is from when you look at other competitors such as GM and Ford. And you see GM's commercial all over the television right now of, 30 new EV vehicles by 2025, and they're dumping billions into it to really get that going. But Lucid's already there, and look at their interior. It's absolutely gorgeous. Makes no bones about the fact that the Air is a luxury vehicle and will be appointed as one. The upscale interior is fitted with high quality materials and tech in either 4 or 5 seat configuration. It's all under a large panoramic glass roof like a Tesla. So it's got the comparison. It might be that little step above. And then it also reaches into individuals saying, I want someone new. My neighbors have Teslas, but I'm going to get something new. So, I think it's absolutely great. Like I said, you look back at the charts. I had a price target on this of $65 to $70. You can go back and check my videos on the channel. I got into this a long time ago, which I'm actually thankful for. I had a price target of $65 to $70 pre-merger. I could definitely probably see that being raised now, that because we're already at 61 and a 100% merger confirmation has not even been confirmed yet. But I also want to say again, guys, if you look at this, the market cap is 16. It was 15 when I last looked at it, but 16. And then when you look at Tesla, and don't get me wrong, this is all going to change. It's all going to change, but just to show you the opportunity, $750 billion. So the opportunity's there, the money's there, and the chance of really Lucid being able to, break into this market is huge. And it just gives me an opportunity to think to myself, as I have sold out of stocks too early. I've made that mistake many times before. And sometimes they've done well. Maybe I've been able to make more money on it, but there's other times I really kick myself hard. And recently, like I said, I happened to look. I said, I know I own Twilio, and I went back to my Merrill Lynch back in 2015, 2016, and I kind of just shook my head, and I was like, whoa, I missed out on that one. And this might just give you an opportunity. Can I hang on to something that really is just going to continue to grow and trend over the next 5 years? Am I going to be able to look back and look at some really good gains? It's this could be life changing for a lot of individuals, and we've all been in situations where we look back and like, oh, we missed this opportunity. And I just want to bring this might not be the next opportunity, okay, but it just might. And so I'm going to continue to hold my position as much as I thought of, and still do predict once the merger happens, a little bit of the hype wears off until earnings and revenue come through, there's going to be a pullback. I'm going to hang strong on this. I might, dollar cost average down and add to my position, which I already have added to my position. I got in again at 59, just a little bit more. But before we move around some things, switch out some funds and really get this thing going. So just another food for thought, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below of where this can go and what your plans are. Consider liking and subscribing. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.